All right, here we go again. Buckle up. I'm not sure when that volume cut out. There's a button to turn the microphone off. Maybe when I was trying to remount all this, uh, I bought a new battery and working out. I really don't. That's why I hate when I have to return food stuff because I have other stuff that like technical items like this that are just not working out the way I intended it. Let me try this. This might actually work a little better if I take. Now it sounded like a kind of a slide on our gun. Right. And it said 100, and then the battery says 100, like 100%. Right. So again, we got to heal that. Yeah, I imagine Elon's threats are picking up. All right, let's keep going here. So we need to figure out. Actually, I'm hearing something. Like not hearing, it's just thoughts are coming in. Somewhere in the military is. It's already figured it out. Apparently, somewhere in the military, there are structures that we could use to build another camp. And it's not going to cost us anything. But I don't know where it is. So Hegseth has to find it. Thank you. Well, again, I don't know what I'm reading in the news for sure, but it said you needed more detention space. All right. So Hegseth has to poll the military for mobile structures that we could use for a detention camp. Apparently, the thing says, or the person says, that they're somewhere in storage. Could be an old hospital setup that they don't use anymore. That's probably what it might be. Something like that. Because they've updated a lot of their hospital stuff. So they might have some of the older hospital gear in storage, little buildings and things like that. Tent structures and buildings. It says it's maybe something newer. I don't know. It says it's better than like a GP medium, like a regular Sheriff Arpaio tent. Let me get my thing here. Looking for my other phone. Hilarious. A spiritual thing is inferring that somewhere in the military there are structures that would be available free of charge to build either one or more additional detention camps. In storage. Storage in. Secretary Hegseth should poll the military in order to see if such a thing is available. Hegseth is cursed. Came out actually came out Hagseth. Healed. Again, if you look in the cities, you know that there's no way to continue to allow the numbers of undocumented immigrants we have. So again, the argument that they're good people, some might be, but we can't sustain the number that we have because it's actually even hurting immigrant people because we can't sufficiently penetrate and investigate what's going on in these communities. It's just the numbers are way too high. All right, Larry. Because as they say, we have to thin out the herd. I guess I'll give it to Banks and Hegseth. Their mission, if they choose to accept it. Oh, did I spell kudos with the wrong letter? I can't remember. Hegseth's using kudos. Would be available. To see if such a thing is available. Hegseth going to be busy. Nice to get a young guy in there, a younger guy, right? Can run him around. Private Secretary Hegseth. That's cool. I think he's a doer when he gets in a position, you know what I mean? Right. Cut out for the other stuff as much. Right. Just keep him busy. We won't start drinking. You ain't got time to drink. Well, people drink. Military people, it's just, it's tradition. Marshal Service. Get that up. See, I did come up with something. Yeah, just sitting here talking. It buzzed in my head because I said we got to figure out how, and it went. It started just getting into my mind that something was available. Now we have to make sure that it's available. But I do remember that they changed out several iterations of different structures, like hospital structures and things. Could be something else also. So I think some of those older hospitals could probably double as something like that. Because what they did is they gave them new equipment. Now, I don't know if it's what condition it's in. Well, I think the camps we built last time were an upgrade. It wasn't like a GP medium. I don't think we used. I think we used some serious upgraded tent structures and things. I mean, nothing wrong with building a Sheriff Arpaio's jail, but try to, make it a little nicer if we can for everybody involved, because there's going to be a cadre building and all that, right? Elon actually owes me money, but I don't know how it works. He used my stuff. Right. I guess they're doing rumors, I guess, that Border Patrol's this, that, and the other thing, right? Thank you, Larry. So you have less coming in, but you still need all those people because that's what's doing it, right? Yeah, been suggesting that for decades. But still, that Air Mobile thing, and they did bring them Dakotas down there, right? I think, right. Yeah, it's a good sized helicopter for that stuff. They're trying to like screw my head. Like in between when I speak, they projected so much it just kind of penetrates lightly. I just go. I mean, they spend too much time thinking about me. No, it's not only the Mexicans. Like there's people in the FBI cursing me and cursing the mission. Right. All right, let's see what we got here. Maybe make some fruit here. Or just defrost some fruit. Have it frozen. Actually, I should probably make a smoothie at some point. The only thing is the battery's a little bit heavy. Kind of weighs down the flexible bar that I use to mount it. I hate this. Like I had the heat on, it was like too hot. I turned the heat off and it's too cold. I hate this time of year, especially here. Hopefully there's something there. We can build another camp. Actually, it's telling me to eat another warm meal. Thanks, sir. That'd be a good thing to do anyway. Right? Find out what they have laying around. So again, one of the things you want to do is ask the hospitals what they did with their other gear. I mean, we may have already sent it to Ukraine, but right. As far as their building structures, there's something else. They're saying, I guess there's a maintenance. Is there a maintenance facility upgrade, like a mobile maintenance facility? Or maybe like, right. So maybe we could combine parts from a mobile hospital with parts from a mobile maintenance facility. Right. Come up with something. Right. Learn that on MASH 4077. I think Bilko did that too in that 50s one. Sergeant Bilko, he used to wheel and deal. I was so happy when I got to Santa Fe, or actually when I got to Espanola to the point of healing, because I was in so much pain. I'm like, I'm finally out of this. I was like, I had a very humbling experience. I was at the hospital seeing doctors, and I saw people with permanent disabilities and things, and I was just happy to be with people and praying for them and stuff. Because, they'd isolated me in the community too there, playing their game, making their millions, I guess. Right. Wait. And I was just so happy when I got out of that trick bag. You know what I mean? I'd be really happy, like without surgery. I don't know if it will or won't. If I just get able, I got my gait is a little bit more even. Right. Again, they knew what they were doing to me. They were killing me. Yeah, they were hacking it, I guess. Hack my signal. But we could use the BOP people that they they're saying if they don't have enough people to transfer or retire that they'd furlough them because they're closing prisons, which means they probably have an overage of funds right now, which would really be nice if they could help ICE out with bus uh, for the bus teams, right? So need is if the furlough, ICE needs to look at the possibility of transfer them people transferring into ICE because ICE needs new people. Right? I'm sure you'd find a number of people that would be willing to do it. I don't know what exact position they would get, but definitely qualify for detention officers. Right. I don't know what you pay and how that works. I imagine ICE isn't part of the downsizing. Well, some correction officers do work on like arrest teams. BOP not so much, but I know there were some in history. So I'm not sure how that would work. Well, you could maybe cut the marshals back to their job or cut the DEA back to their job and replace them with maybe some senior BOP officers. I know if you're on the bus team or there's a local transportation course they developed, you shoot everything in the world. They're they're more apt to be at the level of that kind of street operation. Yeah, it's like a stress course. I don't know what they do now. And I don't know if we just did ours different, so I don't know. But we had a stress. Most of it was just firing all these different types of weapons, and it was a stress course, and we had submachine guns and all sorts of stuff. You just kept shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting. Right. A bunch of shotgun stuff, a bunch of shotgun drills. Yeah, it's one of the things the Marshal Service does every so. They used to have outlying jails, and I'm sure ICE does too. But again, might be an issue with transportation because everybody's on the street detaining, and right. So again, BOP has those bus teams. Now the Marshal Service can hire guards, I guess, with the guard funds if they have any available. If Premier Elon Musk approves. You can't spend any money in government. That's what it's going to be by the time it's done. You have to call Elon, Elon's team. If you want to spend any money in government. So more tent structure, like advanced tent structures, maybe a little older, but years ago, like just even like 4 years ago, they weren't older. In other words, they were still in use. The question is, did we send them to Ukraine or anything? They upgraded They upgraded some of that stuff in the military. That's what I was getting at, and something was kind of hinting that it was in storage somewhere. I don't know if it is or not. Again, psychic things are weird. Sometimes they're real, sometimes they're not. And then again, the BOP bus teams are great for transportation. And then they can pull it into a BOP facility and house them there overnight if they had to. Again, I think detainees, as long as they're not extremely high risk, could probably be housed in a gym, right? Like the basketball courts. You're laughing at. Pretty much nothing in government I couldn't do as long as they weren't killing me. Thank you, man. I could even be president, believe me. Thanks, Larry. We have engineers on the border, so it's easy for us to put a camp together if somebody can send us the pieces parts, right? Thank you, Larry. Thanks, Larry. So the key is, if we can get it together, is to do the reverse. Like, Biden was bringing people into the country, so I told him, and again, we needed some in because of the inflation, right, and the job situation. There's just too many vacant jobs, right? So I explained how to get them all. You have to get them forward to these southern places. You can't let them build up down there, and they started moving them north. I mean, then they did too many. Messed up the plan to begin with. Right. But no, I'm saying, Governor Abbott doesn't need to do that. You should be doing it. You should move them forward. In fact, when Governor Abbott does that, it's dangerous. Right. Excellent. Thank you, Larry. Thanks, Larry. They build the additional camps down south towards the border, and then you get the BOP buses to transport them. Now, what we need is new judges. So when the next budgeting call comes in, they need to fund new immigration judges. Then we can put them in the camps. So essentially, you could move them down to. Well, actually, you can't until the removal order is. I guess you can't move them to the border generally until the removal order. Well, imagine some people are up north waiting on a. Actually, no. Actually, some. Not that many. Because most of the people you're taking in already have an order, right? Well, I would think maybe they don't. Right? Well, the question is, can we move? We can't move. Generally, well, there has to be a detention, right? So if they overstayed their visa, it's automatic, I guess, right? Or if I overstayed their, amnesty. They didn't attend their amnesty hearing. In other words, we can't send them south until they have a hearing or have an order, right? Have the order or you have a new hearing, right? Trying to figure out, I could send them down there and then see the judge. They're ripping apart the operation like every day. Now, the idea that it was the same numbers as during Obama is not really pertinent. Right. First off, it might not be, but I think Obama was like Trump just got in there, right? Because when those numbers hit on Obama, he had been in for years, right? Right. Okay, once the funding hits, if there is a funding increase, then it's going to increase. I think. Again, Obama was probably rounding everybody up. Right. If we did that, we'd probably have higher numbers. No, I'm sure the first day of whatever operations they were doing back during Obama were not those numbers, right? But also, we're actually having less hit the border. So if they're comparing those numbers at all, those are going to be lower. I like to hear who leaked what when we get to that point. I mean, it doesn't have to be names, just situational. But here's an example. I don't know if this happened. This is what we would do. We might tell the manager in the office, because she's helped us with other stuff, right? Somebody in DA or Marshal Service might know her or know him. Right. Maybe to get, they have, just in case we need a key or something. They may have presented us with, with some information about who some of the fugitives we were looking for. All right. Make sure you heal the people on the task force regularly. Say, yeah, I healed, or whatever you say. You can even say healed, but I use, name of God with that. And I use it 3 times there. Thank you, sir. Well, those people that the leak produced in the vicinity of the operation were using curse words that have an effect. So a choice of words and attitude present the probability that they were cursing. And that is a big part of the Latino cultures that we see, the magic side of it. Thank you, Larry. Again, the president should be careful about what he says about USAID. Because, he doesn't have the inside yet. I guess he could receive the inside. He should inquire. The White House should inquire as to whether USAID, some of these crazy radical leftist programs, were any of them used for like spy payments. You want that to come out later, if it was that. Now they wouldn't tell Elon, but they tell the president if he asked. Thank you, man. I'm not telling you it's innocent, right? But again, there's ways of handling it without, just being so bombastic about it. Now, like I was telling you, so you don't, be forewarned. There are people on Social Security that are disabled veterans. There are people that are on Social Security that are disabled law enforcement officers. So be careful what you're doing. Thank you much. Some of these people, I don't know if Elon's one of them, they hate disabled people. Thank you. Like, just live and let live. That doesn't even enter in their mind. I'm not telling you to look the other way on fraud, waste, and abuse. And if that data transfers, right, you'll get in a lot of trouble. Make sure that data stays where it's supposed to stay. No, Elon gets angry and doesn't control himself. He might have somebody he wants to do dirty, find some information, and transfer it to a third party. Thank you, Larry. Well, because Elon's not understanding a lot of the stuff because he's just rushing to it. So in Social Security are a lot of different people. Then I told you how they forced me to do that. I told them no. I want the government to pay my retirement. I said, you're the ones that did it, not Social Security. I want that to come out of my service budget. All of it. Because the portion does come out of their budget. It's just how they do it. Right. They deduct the Social Security from what I would normally be paid by the OPM. Thank you. Thank you, Larry. Thanks, Larry. Well, you might have some, serious combat veteran on having Social Security, disability on top of veteran disability. Right. Then you get egg on face. I saw the president posted on USAID, but I don't think he understands what it actually is. Some of it, at least. So again, if let's say down the road somebody, I guess Politico doesn't like them now, right? So if Politico might release something about what it actually was and what operations were hampered. Right. And then it wouldn't be so funny, would it? Right. Egg on face again. Thank you, Larry. But we definitely need more detention space. Again, I'm just minding it. We incantating. We need more detention space. We need more transportation teams, bus transportation teams. Especially if you get to the point that you start picking up additional. Again, I don't know what the problems are. So again, I don't know. Is you're having problems with the immigration judges? I don't know if that's an issue. What I picked up is that maybe we should have immigration judges attached to each task force specifically. But again, then they said, but some of these judges, if we get the wrong type of judge, they'll let everybody go. Right. But I think these people, I guess they're just 100% deportee, most of them. Right. Gang membership, I guess, is a disqualifier. Thank you, Larry. And I got to wonder, did they change when Putin came, I mean, not Putin, when Trump came in, because they may have felt obliged to do what Biden wanted, and maybe now feel obliged to do what Trump wants, right? Which is, not unheard of. Great. So we need judges, right? We need them on the border, and we need them up there, and where the task force are operating the most. Right? The task force should not have to wait for an immigration judge. There should be one ready and waiting 24/7. They shouldn't have to put somebody in custody if there's a need to see. I guess you have to see. Actually, if there's right now, some people not getting what they're saying. They're saying there's a need for some of them to see a judge for some reason. Bless you, Larry. Boy, it's ugly out there. Ugly day. Yeah, his batteries just won't point upwards. Like I have the phone and the battery kind of side by side in a mount, and it's supposed to kind of be on a diagonal angle. That battery seems to be weighing it down, and it just keeps going down. So I'm gonna have to probably put something to adjust it so it doesn't do that. Am I still being heard? Yeah. Test, 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 test. 1, 2, 3, test. Looks like it's a little quiet. Other one. What's that? Oh, there's. All right. There it is. So even if you do get budget, if military has something, we got to try to use it. Increase our capability without spending money or appearing to spend money. Somebody spends money, but our operation doesn't. Because we don't have a budget yet, right? Who knows what Elon's going to do to our budget? Yeah, I'm sure it's fraud, waste, and abuse in USAID. I'm sure of it. It's probably everywhere. Well, not everywhere, right? But in those kind of fluffy places, probably something in the. I'm sure there's something in the Pentagon. Right. Make sure. Bless you, Larry. It's always blessing me. So imagine you have a border defense plan if it goes bad. Having Fort Bliss there makes it kind of easy. Just roll them out and keep rolling with each side of the border. Right. And then you have Fort Hood also. I kind of wish I was in Texas. It's just too cold here. And I wasn't cold till recently. Like it never bothered me. I was always like a warm-blooded person. But as soon as I got my massages, I'm cold again. No, I moved to Santa Fe because I wanted to help Latino people, but I also wanted to help, a Latino woman. I was hoping to eventually marry one. It wasn't like I'm only helping them to marry them. Actually, it ruins it when I help them. I'm like paranoid. I don't want to cross that line because people are susceptible when you help them. Right? They could fall in love with you and then fall out of love with you later. Right? But it's also a little bit of I feel like I'm taking advantage. I probably shouldn't have worried about it. Right? Thank you. So I was looking at cam girls. I was wanting to date one because they were blocking me. Again, their idea probably was to go. They probably the ones that put me into it to begin with. But I was thinking if I date one, we like each other, we get married, and it wouldn't matter. Everything be over, and she'd have a normal life, I'd have a normal life, right? But some of it was like law. I was doing some law enforcement analysis, right? And I was doing charity. I was just giving them money. I wasn't like asking for anything, right? And then. There was this Spanish woman, and I think she was in Texas, West Texas or something, Latina woman, and she just lost it. I can't even remember what it was about. And it wasn't like, I just happened to like luck into, seeing her page and she just started crying. I just like, oh man, I just like didn't even know what to do. Something was horrible in her life, and I didn't even know what to do. But I think what happened is I got injured in Naples, right? The big one, the reason I picked up massage therapy and everything. And I think I I didn't get back to it because I was so injured. Right. I think I was trying to plot how to help her. Right. Thank you, Larry. So I was trying to figure out how to help her. And then I probably got injured because I can't remember how that all went. And then I figured, I'd help other people that were in my physical life, right? And I did. One of the things that happened in Espanola, like you may watch me start talking to a younger Latino woman, like single mother, but there's never going to be the time where we have sex or anything. It's not that. It was never that, right? Right. So again, that's one of the things the Sikh people were acting like I was trying to hit on younger women. And I'm like, what? Now somebody may have put that in their head to predispose them to do that to me, but I'm like, and it turns out they're the ones having sex, right? One of them actually, she did she speak to me? He spoke to me about it, I think, and I think she spoke to like he revealed he was having sex with her, and I don't remember how it all happened, but one of them, like one of their people, were having sex with one of them that I just was trying to help and talk to, and right, there was a situation where an adult Sikh man in Virginia had taken advantage of her, and now she was in Espanola. It was a younger man, like I say, adult, like I'm an older man, and she was maybe 24 or something like that, right? And she had worked in one of their professional offices, but she was taken advantage of, and I guess they had her come out there just to make it better, right? But it really didn't go better, right? But when I try to have a conversation, they're too young. I'm like, what? Right. Thank you, Larry. So they may have put them into some bullshit, right? Because they know I help people, especially seeing like younger single mothers. If you need something, I give them money. So there was another one that this guy, I helped him all day. Like he should have known me that I wasn't doing anything, right? I was but they may have paid him to do me anyway, right? right, and make it persona non grata. So I was in the kitchen with him all the time cooking. I do special stuff with him. You know, he had parties at his place for the Sikh people. They did, like pizzas. You know, you make pizzas in the outdoor pizza oven and stuff like that. Helped him with that. I mean, you don't see me doing anything that's wrong. You know what I mean? Like everybody else is, socializing so much, and I'm working. So he may have opened up a cafe or something. Somebody did. She was working at the cafe, and I don't know who she was. Like she's affiliated with him somehow. I don't know if it's his like, his wife's kid, or or I don't think it's his kid, right? But I think he was married or something, right? Or niece or something. But all I did was talk to her and just pay attention to her. And eventually, I think I did say, if you need a ride, I can give you a ride. Like not then and there. Like a lot of single mothers. This is the weird part because I don't ask for anything. But there are men out there that would give them rides and then want sex, and they might feel obligated. So that's part of the reason I do it, so they don't have to get into that situation, right? Where they owe somebody, and then the inference is you have to give them sex or something, right? And again, when I got separated from my daughters, it's a way for me to say, hey, Lord, please protect my daughters, and I'll pay you back over here. Not that I'm always like that, but right. 100%. But he started like that same shit again, and I'm like, that's it. I'm out of here. Because again, theoretically, they're trying to act like I'm trying to hit on young women, and all I'm doing is charity. Right? And it's not only young women. I speak older Sikh man. I tried to fix his car for him for free. Right. All sorts of stuff. And even like using Sikh, Yogi Bhajan Sikh massage therapists is adding money to their community. Renting from one of their people is adding money to their community. Right. But I saw the setup coming. And I said that was it. And I decided to move to Santa Fe. And I moved there for a short period of time. And the place I moved had a lot of criminals, like a prison yard. And you come outside, and it's just, I'm not worried about it, but I don't need to, the garbage. So I decided to go to Arizona. Plus, a couple other things happened. So I went to Arizona, and when I came back, they were gone. So I decided to stay. Right. But it's probably the wrong thing to do. Right. Correct. Because I don't know if they would have been able to put that together in Arizona, what they did in Santa Fe. Right. There were several massage MVs there. And then when I left Arizona, there was I don't know how I met this couple. It was a lesbian couple, a Native American and a Latina woman. I let them stay in my room the day before I left. They wanted a ride to, I guess one of their mother's house was out on a reservation in New Mexico. So I took them somewhere there. Right. And then they got out the house. I guess the one house was like up in the boonies. So I dropped them at her like sister's house or something. And then she was going to go to her mother's place, which is like deeper into the reservation. I gave them a ride. Thank you, friend. Research. And he tried to. He was already playing with me because he tried to act like it was my fault. Right. Right. I don't even know. At the most, I said to her, "Well, if you need a ride to the supermarket, I can do that for you." Right. Or something like that. I don't even remember for sure exactly what I said. It may not even go on that far. Right. But it's like it was in our circle of people. I don't know how he understands that interaction occurs. Right? There's no sex that's going to happen unless we get married, and I doubt I'm going to marry her. Right? Thank you, Larry. I'm actually more straight up than their people, and I kind of knew that because I knew how these yoga people would work. They go to these solstices and they pair off and have sex. Right? Hare Krishna and Yogi Bhajan Sikhs. They go to some big, gathering and they all have sex. Pair off and have sex. I mean, they're looking at me. Meanwhile, like I'm just talking to this woman. I mean, there was nothing but conversation, real quick conversation. And one of their senior guys goes, "Too old." I mean, like she's looking at him and I'm looking at him like, "What?" but the reality is, one of their Sikh guys, he was a younger guy, but he was having sex with her, and she had already had an issue back east with an older Sikh guy. Now to their credit, when I brought it up online because I finally got sick of them stalking me, I said, they went and got him married, realizing that he needs to stop sowing his wild oats. Right. Thank you, Larry. So I think he told me he had sex with her. Right. Or maybe she may I think she leveled it with me at one point. Was like broken up because again they're treating her like a sex toy, and she's in spiritual place, trying to be spiritual. Right. And she was over at that yoga place that's affiliated, yoga spa thing. I don't even remember what it's called. I went over there and I may actually have lunch with her. I can't remember. I know I had lunch with an older Sikh woman, but I don't think I had lunch. I think I just said hey to her. She worked at the cashier or something, and I was going in for a massage. Right. Thank you, Larry. It got to the point I was afraid to give this young woman a ride just in case she's going to put drugs in my car or something because the time had elapsed. She was going to like the platelet center or something to give blood. I guess she needed money. I instantly saw her. Again, she may have wanted me to see her because it was really weird. It was like a tap on the shoulder. I saw her sitting at the bus thing. I came up. I said, "Do you need a ride anywhere?" And she said, "Well, I'm going to the platelet center." I said, "Sure, hop in if you want." And I took her there and I said, "If you need me to pick you up, here's my phone number." Right. But she contacted me online, and I was like, at this point, with what's going on in the city, I can't trust you. I mean, I don't know you that good. You could have made a deal with somebody, and you could have a bag of heroin thrown at my car. A cop pulls me over and says it's mine. Right. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Larry. Well, I got to the point where I couldn't even trust helping people because it became so corrupt in that city. I didn't say anything about any of them in the beginning. I just ignored it. But again, they're all paranoid. Right. And of course, the government put them up to it. I mean, you're talking about so many chances that I got better. They knew I was disabled and that disability could creep up at any second. Right. But again, they could have been ones causing it. Right. And in a way, they were, again, stressing you out, all that. Having all these young women come on to me too, like make funny sex sounds around me. Right. While they're isolating me. So you know how weird that could be. Right. No respect is an understatement. Can't believe it's 38 degrees out there. But I'm up to it. Whenever it warms up, it warms up. Just sit here and talk all day for the next 2 weeks if it don't warm up. And then I'll probably talk for 2 weeks outside. I don't see her real. I don't see her speaking in tongues real. Right. It just seems like she's saying it. So what are you saying it where you're talking in schools and stuff? Right. I'm sure she's an okay person. All right, am I still being heard here? Yeah. Volume might be a little low. Thank you, Larry. No, I really wanted to marry a Mexican woman. I really did. I just could never get anything started. And they wouldn't let it. You know, if they had stepped away, I probably would have been in a church or something if they had stepped away. Right. But you like if they're there, they go into the church and they mess up the church because the church then becomes a sinner. You know, maybe because Jesus doesn't allow you to be a partner in the deep state, you know, or the blue partner. It really doesn't. You have an obligation to do something different because they're going to ask you to alter the experience, and once you alter the experience, the power of God may disappear. Right. Now, Jesus never authorized you to be a law enforcement officer, whether you're one in the church working for a cop or actually a cop. I'll just let you know that. Right. One of the hardest things to be is probably one of the most difficult things to be is to be a law enforcement Christian because it really does conflict. First, you have to judge people, right? All day long, you got to judge people. Right. That's an earth tongue thing. It's not. Doesn't sound like angel tongues, man. And there's variety. Gosh, Shem brought the Chinese one up. There's an angel tongue that sounds like Asian, and that's maybe where that language came from. Like in their head, they could hear Asian angel tongues, and it created an Asian. Hashem told me that spiritual beings have different languages, right? But you can understand. You don't need a language. You can understand again seeds of thought. I explain like that. But there's languages like maybe that they use or they've been in their life, spiritual lives. Right? And they say they come here, and Hashem has us speak English or whatever language you are, and it actually means something to the spiritual being in their own language. Right. Well, Hashem brought up the idea of the Jewish planet, the Asian planet, stuff like that, the Chinese planet, that apparently there are in the spiritual skies, and Native Americans call it, and again, it's also in Hinduism and all of that. Right. There are differing cultures, and when we get born here, we pick up some of those cultures. Or when we started having a life here. The way to look at the scripture, and I'll say it again because I haven't said it in a while, Garden of Eden is somewhere else. It's not here. There are books that infer that Adam and Eve fell to this planet and then inhabited a body that could die. So after they were thrown out of the garden. So the planet that's described in that part of the scripture is most likely another planet that may fit the age in the Bible. You understand how it works? So they felt anybody, Adam and Eve, once they fall, and anybody forward of that is actually on this planet. But before they fell, they were on a different planet. Again, most likely in the spiritual sky. So this planet was already here. And when Adam and Eve fell to this planet, there may have been even humanoids here. But theoretically, that the inference is that's when the spiritual progression began. So actually, God entered this planet, this fallen planet, the place Adam and Eve fell to, through Adam and Eve. Because they indwelled whatever being here. And what might actually happen is like what happened to me, because Hashem does this too. Like they wake up, like you have the two Australopithecus or whoever it was. I guess then it was actually regular people, right? And they all of a sudden spiritually wake up, and they're Adam and Eve. But this planet had a different history before they got here than the planet they came from. Well, because if you read the scripture, it doesn't make sense, right? That this place, being ribosexual. Right. So the first body was a body that couldn't die, if I remember correctly. I might be off, but I think that's what it was. And then this body, then they fell to this planet after the fall, then they could die. Right, death entered by one man, one sin. Right. So it's actually most likely that science is real. But this is not the garden. This is not the earth that the garden was built upon. This is a fallen place. This is actually a hell. So both religion and science is correct. I think I'm going to need to put some more of this stuff on my body. I could actually even probably take a salt bath. I'm just not in the right apartment. I can feel that. Maybe I woke up. I guess I woke up, huh? I guess that's what it is. Right. Oh my God. Thank you, Larry. I'm being manipulated every day that they can manipulate me. So again, obviously I'm not in the right place. Again, pay me when as soon as you can, because God expects me to be paid. Enough of the game. Right. Thank you, Larry. And the easiest way is just go to my VA and backdate it to that 2017, 2018, whenever I put it in that last time. It should have happened back then anyway. Correct. And there's stuff missing from my file from 2013. I have no idea where it went. Again, that was put through by it was in Naples, Florida. It was one of those county reps. I put in for Persian Gulf syndrome in like 2013. I think I was saw it. Maybe it was like 2012 when I put in for it. So whenever I went to those hospitals in Naples when I could barely walk. So I said enough's enough. I'm going to put in for Persian Gulf syndrome. Now I did get better, but again, it comes and goes. Right. So somebody interfered with my Persian Gulf because they knew it could be 100%. I'm sure that because they left enough that I got like a 10% increase or something. but the part that would have gave me 100% was missing. So it's that simple. End the game, give me my 100%. Just there's no way for me to start the process. It'd take probably 2 years before I get an answer anyway, right? And I shouldn't have to. And I don't think I can because last time I did it, it took me down. Right? My life was wrecked as soon as that denial came in. And of course, it had been down throughout that year. Right? Because I have to apply that energy and they're coming against it. There's a presumption that I have Persian Gulf syndrome, not only because I was there, because I was a combat engineer and I was in and out of those bunkers, right? And I was in the oil fields, and I was in those tank battles with the irradiated uranium. Not for the deep state bullshit. But if you want God to destroy something more, just go ahead and don't give me the money. I mean, in fact, it should have just been natural. I got 100%. Right. Even if my work, there's no way to pay me. They don't let me go back to work. That's why I didn't go back to work. I retrained and I was retraining and everything. And they showed me that they would do it all over again if I went back to work. And I didn't want to go back to work and then have a boss, have a problem with me because it's some contrived bullshit. Right. I can't even drive an Uber because they would ride in my Uber and make complaints. Right. I'm sorry. See what we got going on here. Horse patrol. Okay, so we're looking good numbers wise, but we have to. Again, we're not looking good numbers wise. Right? We're looking good for new numbers wise, but old numbers wise, we're looking horrible. Right. The number that are here as far as trying to deport, is a mess. Right. But the new numbers trying to get in is encouraging. But again, I guess the real test is like in about a month is when it could surge. I mean, it's still kind of warm now in certain areas of the border. Well, theoretically, I guess California is still warm, right? But I don't know if it's theoretically. I think we're talking about New Mexico. If they're going to surge, I would think it's in New Mexico, right? I think at this point, right? No, because that's the most sympathetic government to them, and I think California is not as desolate, right? As far as probably infiltration routes, but I could be wrong. They're not desolate, as far as decent infiltration routes. Maybe more difficult to infiltrate in California, but I might be wrong. I have to look at it. Oh yeah, I want to hopefully release just a situational thing when you can, if you can, for the leak. But I know that may mess something up. I don't know if that can be done. Right. But Aurora's corrupt as hell. I don't know. I think it was Aurora. Corrupt as hell. No, I believe in DACA, and I believe in, but I believe in accountability, like a statement of facts, a true statement of facts, right, as to how they were brought here if they have that information, right. I believe in amnesty, where you know it makes sense, right. But again, when it gets out of control like this, it ruins it for everyone else. Again, that's another reason, you know, that messed everything up. I mean, we can't really scrutinize amnesty cases and get the right people in here real quick and get them set up in life because of that crazy overage, right? I'm sure we still do law enforcement amnesty if somebody's a law enforcement officer and they, are seeking almost like a refugee status because their life is endangered in their home nation in Mexico or whatever. I'm sure we're still letting them in, right? Now, Mexico used to be a lot realer on a lot of what they're doing, right? And those cartels would always go after the chief of police or the right. Sometimes they come across say, I need protection. Well, I think at this point, because of what Biden did, the best DACA is going to be is just some lawful status. They're allowed to work, they're allowed to live here, but I don't think they're going to give them citizenship, right? At least not this go round, the next 4 years, right? Unless the deal is cut. Actually, the president's not going to do that. That was the complaint that they were trying to make shake and bake citizens, right? So I bet it's good enough. I mean, for them. I mean, I wish the best for them, but probably the best they can hope for is that and Trump alluded that he was going to do something. It's something like a permanent work visa, right? Oh, actually, work visa requires work, but a permanent, I guess, a green card without the capability to become a citizen, right? Or some sort of card. I don't know if that's to be different. It could be just a DACA card, right? Where they're again, I would require a statement of facts. I don't know if it's pertinent now, but right. So essentially, they'd be allowed to stay here and work and raise a family, and they'd have a resident status, but would not be eligible for citizenship. So again, if Biden hadn't played all that game with it, because there's a certain point, like I said, we needed immigrants to get the inflation down, right? Right. Well, things could have changed too. I mean, people may have been living somewhere rent free, right? And now they need more work because they can't live somewhere rent free because of you know somebody was paying their rent. So we may not need all those people now because they may not have worked. Like now they might need to work 2 or 3 jobs, right? But before they only had to work one job because they weren't paying their rent, right? Because the COVID-19 program, right? So that could be been why we need the immigrants. I didn't see that part of it till now. Now Elon Musk should send me money immediately. He owes me. I mean, X used some of my stuff. I don't know if somebody's being the middleman on that. I've tried to help him years ago for Tesla. Looks like China's trying to do something along those lines. Kind of sunlight. They're trying to create artificial sunlight. That was one of my ideas. I gave it to Tesla. When I was in Santa Fe. Well, stay peaceful.